Good evening. Tonight we're tracking major global stories with real-world consequences. A looming U.S. trade war, deep budget cuts, and escalating conflicts. In Washington, former President Trump's proposed tariffs are shaking global markets, while the Senate's budget cuts spark protests over America's priorities. In Eastern Europe, Ukraine receives advanced missile defense systems. In the Middle East, a strike on a Gaza church prompts international outrage. We'll also cover a deadly Texas flood, France's military withdrawal from Senegal, and Europe's climate emergency as wildfires rage. Welcome to Global Headlines Today, your 10-minute update on the world's most important stories. It's July 17, 2025. Let's dive in. Former President Trump is set to impose sweeping tariffs on over 150 countries by August 1st, targeting pharmaceuticals, microchips, and heavy industry. The European Union is preparing retaliatory tariffs on American tech, bourbon, and cars, escalating global trade tensions. Supporters say these tariffs will protect American jobs and industries, especially in manufacturing and critical supply chains. Critics warn of a global trade war, higher prices for consumers, and retaliation that could hurt American exporters. Tariffs on pharmaceuticals could disrupt medicine supplies and raise costs for patients, while microchip tariffs threaten tech innovation and supply chains. The bourbon industry and American farmers are bracing for impact as Europe targets key U.S. exports. As the August deadline nears, diplomatic efforts are underway, but uncertainty dominates. The world is watching to see if this tariff tsunami will reshape the global economy or if a compromise can be reached. For now, businesses and consumers are bracing for fallout. The stakes: billions in trade, jobs, and the future of global economic cooperation. The next few weeks will be critical. We'll keep you updated as this story develops. Stay tuned. The U.S. Senate has passed a $9 billion rollback affecting foreign aid and public broadcasting, igniting nationwide protests. Supporters argue the cuts prioritize domestic needs and reduce the national debt. Opponents warn that slashing foreign aid undermines U.S. diplomacy and security, while humanitarian groups say millions could lose access to food and medicine. Defunding public broadcasting has sparked debate over the role of government-funded media and the future of independent journalism. Protesters rally with signs like "Save Our Stations" and "Democracy Needs a Free Press," fearing a broader attack on social services. The bill now heads to the House for a contentious vote. Activists see this as the first step in a larger push for austerity. The outcome could reshape America's global role and its social safety net. As protests grow, the nation faces a defining debate over its values and priorities. We'll follow the vote and its fallout. For now, the battle lines are drawn. The stakes: America's identity at home and abroad. More updates to come. The U.S. Treasury has sanctioned Venezuela's Tren de Aragua gang, freezing assets and banning travel for its leaders. This move targets one of South America's most dangerous criminal organizations, involved in trafficking, extortion, and violence across the continent. The sanctions aim to cripple the gang's finances and disrupt its operations in the Americas. Tren de Aragua's reach extends from Venezuela into Colombia, Peru, Chile, and even toward the U.S. Officials say the gang's human smuggling networks pose a growing security threat. By designating the group as a transnational criminal organization, the U.S. can block its access to the global financial system. The crackdown is part of a coordinated effort with Latin American partners. Intelligence sharing and joint operations are ramping up to counter the gang's expansion. Experts warn sanctions alone won't solve the problem. Venezuela's instability fuels criminal growth. Without broader diplomatic and humanitarian action, gangs like Tren de Aragua will persist. For now, the U.S. is opening a new front in the fight against transnational crime. We'll track the impact of these sanctions. More on this story as it develops. NATO will deliver Patriot missile systems to Ukraine, bolstering its air defenses against Russian attacks. The move follows escalating strikes on Ukrainian cities and urgent pleas from Kiev for advanced protection. The Patriot system is among the world's most effective air defense tools, capable of intercepting missiles and drones. Ukrainian crews are already training to operate the system. Russia has warned it will target these Western-supplied systems, raising the risk of escalation. For Ukrainian civilians, the news brings hope for greater safety amid relentless air raids. NATO's commitment signals ongoing support for Ukraine's sovereignty. The effectiveness of these systems could shape the next phase of the conflict. We'll monitor the deployment and its impact. Stay with us for updates. An Israeli strike hit a Catholic church in Gaza, killing at least 3 civilians and sparking global outrage. The IDF says it was targeting a nearby militant site and has launched an internal investigation. Religious leaders, including Pope Francis, are calling for a ceasefire and protection of civilians. The church was sheltering displaced families, making the tragedy even more devastating for Gaza's Christian community. The incident has intensified calls for accountability and renewed diplomatic pressure for a ceasefire. Critics argue not enough is being done to protect civilians in Gaza. The world awaits answers from the IDF's investigation. For the victims' families, the loss is immeasurable. This tragedy underscores the urgent need for peace. We'll continue to follow developments. More updates ahead. Flash floods in Kerr County, Texas, have killed over 100 and left dozens missing. A stalled storm dumped 2 feet of rain in 24 hours, overwhelming rivers and sweeping away homes. Emergency services were stretched thin, so locals formed Team Josie, a civilian rescue group searching for victims and delivering aid. Volunteers are pulling people from rooftops, rescuing livestock and setting up shelters. The community's resilience and heroism are on full display amid devastation. Hundreds of homes are destroyed, and recovery will be long and difficult. The disaster raises urgent questions about infrastructure and climate change as extreme weather events become more frequent. For now, the focus is on finding the missing and supporting survivors. This is one of Texas's worst natural disasters. We'll bring you more as the story unfolds. Our thoughts are with Kerr County. After 65 years, France has officially withdrawn its troops from Senegal, ending a post-colonial military presence. Senegalese leaders hailed the move as a new era of sovereignty. The withdrawal ceremony in Dakar marked a historic transition, with the Senegalese flag raised at the former French base. France's military exit is part of a broader shift away from direct intervention in Africa. The two countries will continue cooperation but on equal footing. Senegal's president called it a landmark achievement and a step toward full control of national security. The move comes amid rising anti-French sentiment in West Africa, but Senegal's transition was peaceful and negotiated. The responsibility for regional security now shifts to Senegal and its neighbors. The world will watch how this new chapter unfolds. We'll keep you updated on developments. Wildfires in Spain, Greece, France, and Turkey have forced tens of thousands to evacuate as temperatures soar past 45 degrees Celsius. A persistent heat dome has created tinderbox conditions, fueling uncontrollable blazes. Firefighters and the military are battling dozens of fires with entire villages and resorts evacuated. The heat wave has claimed at least 6 lives and overwhelmed healthcare systems. Climate scientists say this is a clear sign of a warming planet. Extreme weather is now the new normal. The fires are destroying homes, ancient forests, and wildlife habitats. Authorities urge people to stay indoors and check on vulnerable neighbors. The crisis highlights Europe's vulnerability and the urgent need for climate action. The heat wave is expected to continue for days. We'll monitor the situation and bring you updates. Stay safe and stay informed. A deadly fire at a Baghdad mall kills at least 45, sparking calls for stricter safety regulations. Togo holds tense elections with high turnout, seen as a test for the country's political future. The U.S. extends HIV funding to Africa for 1 more year under PEPFAR, after a heated debate in Congress. Health advocates welcome the extension but urge a long-term solution. These stories reflect the ongoing challenges and hopes around the world. We'll continue to track these headlines. More details on our website. That wraps up our global roundup. From trade wars to climate disasters, these stories show a world in flux. But individual and collective action, like rescue teams in Texas and voters in Togo, remind us that engagement matters. We'll keep following these developments and bringing you the facts. Our goal: clear, concise, and essential world news in 10 minutes. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow with more updates. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for daily world news.